I can still feel the chill crawling up my spine as I recount the spine-tingling tale of the Barefoot Woman. This horrifying story took place in the deepest corners of South Alabama, where the people had long abandoned the notion of the devil as a red-horned creature. No, the devil here was said to be a trickster, much like Brer Rabbit from the old folktales. He roamed the land, relishing in his malevolence, and his favorite pastime was to sow discord among loving couples. Husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, no one was safe from his sinister plots. But there was one couple who proved immune to the devil's wicked tricks. Newlyweds, deeply in love, they exuded an aura of affection so strong that it repelled the devil's attempts to tear them apart. Frustrated and infuriated, the devil found himself wandering aimlessly, his malevolent spirit heavy with defeat. It was then that he stumbled upon a peculiar woman, a figure unlike any he had encountered before. She was barefoot, her feet hardened by the harsh Alabama terrain, and her gaze held an otherworldly allure. The Barefoot Woman, as she came to be known, locked eyes with the devil, her voice dripping with curiosity. "What ails you, Mr. Devil? Are you sick or something?" she inquired, her tone laced with mischief. The devil, taken aback by her audacity, replied, "Nah, I've just been trying to break up that couple down in the valley. But they're so lovey-dovey, I can't get them to part." A mischievous grin curled on the Barefoot Woman's lips as she proposed a deal. "Listen, I'll make you a proposition. I've never owned a pair of new shoes, you see. If you can give me a brand new pair of fancy red shoes, I'll guarantee that couple's separation." The devil, enticed by the opportunity to finally triumph, agreed to the pact. "If you can succeed in your task, I shall present you with the most extravagant shoes the town has to offer," he promised, relishing in his own deception. "But remember, you won't receive them until you accomplish the job." With a nonchalant wave, the Barefoot Woman accepted the conditions. "No problem," she chimed, her voice laced with an eerie confidence. "Meet me at the crossroads tomorrow evening, and I shall fulfill my end of the bargain." The following day, the Barefoot Woman set her wicked plan in motion. Armed with a mouth-watering apple pie, she made her way to the valley where the couple resided. The husband toiled away in the fields, his sweat-soaked shirt clinging to his back. Approaching the wife with faint pleasantries, the Barefoot Woman convinced her to engage in a friendly conversation, exploiting her desire to bond with the new neighbor. Seated inside the couple's home, the Barefoot Woman skillfully showered the wife with compliments, praising every aspect of their dwelling. The kitchen, the dishes, the furniture, nothing escaped her enchanting words. With each passing moment, her manipulative influence grew stronger. "You know what the prettiest thing in this house is?" the Barefoot Woman mused. "It's you." A blush crept across the wife's cheeks as she demurred, "Oh, no, I'm not the prettiest. My husband is far more handsome than I am." Amused, the Barefoot Woman dismissed the wife's protestations. "Sure, he's handsome, no doubt. But that unsightly mole on his neck, those hideous black hairs sprouting from it, it mars his beauty." A flicker of unease danced in the wife's eyes. "Yes, I know. It embarrasses him," she admitted, her voice tinged with resignation. "But I've learned to accept it." The Barefoot Woman's voice dripped with cunning as she proposed a horrifying solution. "You don't have to accept it," she whispered. "Tonight, when he slumbers deeply, take a razor and swiftly remove the mole. Dab his neck with spider webs to staunch the bleeding. By morning, he won't even realize what you've done. In fact, he might even thank you." Reluctantly, the wife succumbed to the barefoot woman's wicked suggestion, gratitude and uncertainty intermingling within her. She thanked her profusely, oblivious to the sinister forces at play. As the barefoot woman bid her farewell, she ventured outside to converse with the husband, who had returned from the fields. As the husband shared tales of his arduous work, the barefoot woman feigned admiration, goading him with a seemingly innocent remark. "You're indeed a diligent worker," she commended. "But I've heard whispers. You know, your wife, she has another man in town. If you're not careful, she might just do away with you." Fury ignited within the husband, his muscles tensing with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "What do you mean?" he growled, his voice trembling. The barefoot woman shrugged, her eyes gleaming with a malicious glint. "Merely a warning. Be vigilant," she uttered, her words echoing through the air as she strolled away, disappearing into the night. The hours wore on, and darkness cloaked the land. Hidden in the smokehouse, the barefoot woman observed the couple through a window. Their bedtime rituals commenced, but the harmony that once enveloped them had shattered. The husband's mind festered with suspicion, poisoning his interactions with the wife. Silence enveloped the room, broken only by the shallow breathing of the slumbering husband. The wife, consumed by doubt, slipped her hand beneath the bed, grasping the razor with trembling fingers. With measured steps, she advanced toward her beloved husband, the blade poised above the disfiguring mole. But just as the razor descended, fate intervened. The husband's eyes flickered open, his gaze locking with the wife's horrified expression. He seized her wrist with an iron grip, the strength of his love mingling with a profound sense of betrayal. "I knew it," he bellowed, his voice laced with despair. "That barefoot woman warned me you'd try to kill me, to be with your new lover." The wife, her intentions now laid bare, attempted to protest, her words muffled by the waves of anguish crashing over her. "No, it's not what you think," she pleaded, desperation etching deep lines of sorrow across her face. But the husband, consumed by a potent mixture of rage and heartbreak, refused to listen. "Get out of my house," he roared, his voice reverberating through the night. "Never return." Tears streamed down the wife's face as she packed her belongings, her heart shattered into countless shards of remorse. The couple, once bound by an unbreakable love, had now become estranged, forever destined to walk separate paths. As dusk settled over the land, the barefoot woman fulfilled her end of the bargain. She ventured to the crossroads, where the devil awaited her, brandishing a pair of striking red shoes. But something peculiar occurred. Instead of eagerly accepting the shoes, the barefoot woman wore a sly smile, her eyes dancing with a triumphant gleam. "Why, Mr. Devil, don't you recognize me?" she taunted, her voice seeping with satisfaction. And in that moment, her skin began to smolder, wisps of smoke curling from her very being. Her form contorted, as if being consumed by an infernal blaze, until finally, she shed her disguise, revealing her true identity, Mrs. Devil herself. The devil recoiled in shock, his disbelief mingling with a profound sense of betrayal. "Mrs. Devil, why did you deceive me?" he lamented, his voice laced with regret. She met his gaze, her eyes filled with a mix of resentment and empowerment. "My dear husband, you've always been too stingy to grant my simple wish for a new pair of shoes," she sneered. "But I've proven that you should never underestimate the power of a woman, especially your own wife." The devil's head hung low, a crestfallen figure in the moonlit night. He had fallen victim to his own hubris, outwitted by the very force he believed himself to control. "And so, Mr. Devil," Mrs. Devil continued, her voice dripping with venom, I shall bid you farewell. May this encounter serve as a reminder that even the most cunning of tricksters can be ensnared by their own machinations. With that, Mrs. Devil vanished into the shadows, leaving the devil alone at the crossroads, a broken figure stripped of his illusions of invincibility. And thus, the tale of the Barefoot Woman came to its eerie conclusion. A cautionary tale of love tainted by deception, of trust shattered by whispered words and hidden agendas. It serves as a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk where we least expect it, and that even the strongest bonds can be corroded by the manipulations of a malevolent presence. So, dear reader, be wary of the whispers in the night, for they may lead you down a treacherous path. And remember, love's vulnerability can be exploited by the shadows that haunt our world, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The legend of the Barefoot Woman remains etched in the annals of southern Alabama, a haunting reminder of the perils that await those who dare to underestimate the power of darkness.